Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It would be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peeps, my peoples. Let's talk about Shameless. Oh my goodness, it's the season finale, I believe. Shameless season 8, episode 12. Sleepwalking. I guess some of the Gallaghers ain't sleepwalking no more. They are awake. And it seems like Liam is woke and Fiona's woke. And it seems like Lip is woke as well, and Carl is woke. Only person that is still sipping that Kool-Aid is Ian because he's not taking his medication. So it is what it is. So we start off with, Lip is with, Sierra, and they just got through making love, and she was like, Lip, I'm so proud of you, so strong, you're so this, you're so that. And she's just so happy. She couldn't believe how much Lip has overcome, and he has stayed strong, and he hasn't got back on drugs. He's been supporting her, like, mentally. He gave her a little couple of dollars. He's been supporting Brad, making sure he gets back on the bandwagon and stop drinking. He supported Ewan that died, and he was helping his family out as well, and he stayed clean through all that mess. So anyways, let's move on. So we got Carl wanted to go to the military. He's sneaking out the house to try to go get him some gear, because even though he loves Cassidy, or he thinks he loves Cassie, or they have a good relationship, the sex is good, her money's good, but he still got to go to contend with, and that is defend this country, because he wants to be in the military, because that's the only thing that probably saved his life, basically, because he was selling drugs, selling guns. He was going to end up dead or in jail or whatever, or or strung out on drugs or whatever. So him going to the military saved his life. That was his first girlfriend's father that helped him get into the military, I believe. And so then on, like, he's been focused, even though he done did some dirty shit. He done been selling some meth and stuff like that. He would do some dirty stuff, but not too dirty. Can't get his hands too dirty, because he lied to get into the military, his age or whatever. He got in there, he got the scholarship, and now he made all that money back to go to the military. He's not going to let Cassie change his mind. Plus, their marriage is not even legal, so it's all good. So anyways, then we move forward. We move on to, Liam talking to Frank about, going on vacation with his friend, Robbie, I think. I forgot whatever his friend's name, to go on vacation, to go out the country or whatever. And so, Frank was like, I talked to your best friend or whatever, into his house. They got so much money, they got this, they got that, they got all this stuff. But one thing, as he's a crook, he's a thief, he's this, he's that, and he steals from the poor and all this other stuff. So Frank is trying to fill Liam head with all types of stuff so he can go out there and start stealing, help him steal, help him rob that house. And plus, he's been using Liam to sell the Jesus shirts and not giving him all the money. Used him, for the what do you call it, transporting aliens to, I guess, Canada, and bringing back smuggling drugs, medicine and stuff like that. And Liam hasn't really got none of that money. Frank was burning him and everything. So, and he's probably waking up like the rest of the Gallaghers has woke up, and they don't mess around with Frank. They don't bother with Frank like that. They don't believe in him. They don't have conversations. They have a hear their conversation, but they don't buy his Kool-Aid or sip his drink anymore. And so then we move on from that. Then, Frank wants Liam to get pictures of the the smoke smoke detector, the alarm, and all the luxury items in a house that's worth millions of dollars. So he wants him to case the place with his camera, get the code, and all that other good stuff, and so he can rob him. And then you got Debbie coming down the stairs. She ain't got no toes or whatever. Frank is just so casual, like, oh, so why you limping? We I chiseled your toes or whatever. They was doing that back in the Egyptian time. It should work. I don't know why you got a cast on. I'm like, and then Fiona, she's coming in the house. She's talking about going to meet a lawyer, and she's looking at Debbie's toes, and she's just like, nothing she can do. They're all going through some type of struggle, some type of thing. Frank is still at the same place trying to scheme and get money, because he can't work anymore, because he was working, but remember, he got laid off. So now he's back to the old Frank. It's supposed to be St. Francis. He's not St. Francis anymore. And so then we move on to, Deb and her struggle, and she finds out that, her baby's father, he's back, he's in the military, he wants to get he doesn't she doesn't know that he wants to get married, but she finds out later on that he wants to get married. He wants, custody of their, joint custody of their child, to pay support or whatever. But they're having a family cookout or a family get together, and she's gonna bring, her baby, her child with her or whatever, to go see him. She asked me if it's a good idea if I should go. No, it's not a good idea. You shouldn't have went, because you wasn't even able to take a picture. They isolated you when you raised and you took care of that baby by yourself for months and almost years, a year before the grandmother even got involved, and you had to beg her to get involved. And he went away and he left, went to somewhere and disappeared. Nobody gave us support or help, and when they did come back, to try to take Franny away from Debbie. So she shouldn't definitely went, but she's still a young girl, and she still probably wants that family and having that togetherness, having a happy home. But it's not going to work with him, because he's with Peppa now. And so that was totally a raw deal for her, to be there, to sit there and just feel lonely, feel like she's not a part. Her daughter's accepted, but she ain't, when it came from her. And she raised her, she kept her alive while they was in denial of him being the father of her child. So miss me with that bullshit. Poor Debbie, she can't catch a break, and she got toes. She's gonna be handicapped, and she's gonna be walking like that for the rest of her life. Like, what's the end game with this toe situation? Horrible. She can't get no help. And then that's when Frank is telling Fiona, Fiona's talking about her situation with the tenants and stuff like that. They want to sue her for millions. That's when Frank says, go get go get, pyrotechno gadget guy. He can blow up anything, he can do this or whatever. His face is kind of scary because he had an operation. They used the skin from his ass to cover his face. Oh God. And he did look scary. He did look kind of weird. So I'm like, damn, what the fuck is going on with, like, Deb? Like, they did Deb wrong. Like, just had her standing there by the tree while they all take pictures and don't even offer her nothing, don't say nothing to her. Only thing he said to her was he want joint custody, but she's thinking about it because, she's handicapped right now at this time of point. She can't find work, and it's hard on her. She's living in a house with all her brothers and sisters, which is okay, but she's sharing a room with her child. Her child don't have her own privacy, and then health insurance, and he has health insurance and all this other stuff, and he can pay child support, but she's thinking about, damn, I don't want, this other woman. She doesn't want Franny to be calling this other woman, mama, basically. And then on top of that, it's just like she put in all this work and she did all this stuff, and he's coming in to get custody, joint custody, but it'll be a good thing for her, because right now she's struggling, she's going through a lot. But I know part of her don't want to give up Franny, and plus she believes in stuff that she can still make it. But he did her dirty too as well, and now he gets to live a nice happy life and everything's good for him. But now she's suffering, and she's been suffering, and he took off and he left, and his parents didn't want to be bothered. They lied to her or whatever. So anyways, I don't know what's gonna happen with that situation, but they just did her dirty by the tree. I was just like, damn. And she was just like standing on the outside, you know what I mean? And she's already like an outsider because she's a Gallagher or whatever, and the TV show world. And so anyways, so Fiona's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So now we find out that Kev, Spinlana, and V done kidnapped the girl that used to work for Spinlana, and got her kidnapped, got her tied up, chained up or whatever. And basically Spinlana's gonna marry her sugar daddy, her millionaire or whatever. And they got the girl's all tied up. She got a sock stuck in her mouth or whatever. And she was like and she was like, oh, my mom's coming. The phone rang, so she knows that the mom's coming. The mom's coming through. The mom used to eat people. That's how she survived. So Kev is freaked out about that. So I'm just like, damn. So now they like, how is this even working? How don't nobody know that Spinlana is not the girl that's supposed to marry the father? Like, yo, how do they get away with that? And so then from there, you got, Trevor. Trevor knocks on the door and he's like, yo, Fiona, Deb, have you guys seen Ian? There's a arrest warrant for him. They're looking for him, this and that. So Ian has totally flipped the script. He done totally went crazy. He's off his meds. He loves this power. He loves his attention. He loves having minions. He loves having people under him, and it's feeding his ego and it's feeding his mental illness. Because at one point he was taking that mental illness out on Fiona. Remember how he was going at her with, camping out, protesting, throwing eggs at her house and everything, and he was just gut on her. But he ended up transforming that anger to, the preachers and stuff like that. So that's where he's at, and he would do anything. So he blew up the van and it blew up. He did not kidnap the kid. The kid wanted to be with him, but he's protecting the kid from not going back home. So Trevor's like, I don't know what's going on. And Ian doesn't even care about being with Trevor anymore. He has a new high. His high was getting Trevor back. He got Trevor back. His high a little bit was getting at Fiona, arguing with her and having that beef with her, and then he got over that high. And then his other high now is, having all the people following him. But he was down and out because he never did dealt with the situation with Monica, and he didn't understand how everybody was just so over Monica. So anyways, he doesn't get locked up right away. So Trevor goes to him and tell him, hey, listen, I'm going to lose the shelter. I'm going to lose donors. This and that. These kids are going to be forced to go back home. I need you to turn yourself in because I'm going to lose this money. So Ian looks like he's in a crazy place. He's in the third place right now. And so now, he figures out, okay, I know what I can do. So he's staging all the protests with sheets, people. And then the detectives come. Everybody stands up and says, I'm Ian. It's just like, I'm the real Eminem. Please stand up. Please stand up. I'm like, oh my goodness. So anyways, Ian finally gets arrested. He's in jail. Now he'll be back on his medication. The charges possibly are going to be dropped once they find out that he has mental illness. But now, is he going to have to start all over? Is Ian going to lose his EMT job? Because he worked so hard to be an EMT, and for him to just let it go. But he can probably, I guess he can make money, peddling what he's peddling now, going against, the preachers and the pastors in the communities that are trying to, do shock treatment to get these kids to conform to a certain type of agenda that they want them to. And so, he's a star right now, people following him, so he's basically do have an audience. So I wonder if he's going to come back to be a preacher. Is he going to go to Bible school? I don't know. What is he going to do with that situation? And it seems like, damn, he forgot all about Trevor. Don't mean shit to him anymore. So we'll see what happens with that situation. And the cops came to the house looking for Ian, and Frank was like, I never heard of that name. I never heard that name before ever in my life. I just thought that was a funny part. And Liam finally names his Lip names his bike, with Eddie's niece or whatever. He's taking a phone to Eddie's niece. Like we were talking about that, Lip wants a family, he wants to build something, but he got to build himself first. And I believe Lip building his bike was actually building himself. And once he completed the bike, he completed a lot of obstacles that was in his life. And one of the obstacles was, Ciara and her situation with Charlie, them fighting and him getting back in between, coming in between, Ciara's life, coming back in her life and actually helping her with her father, setting the father up, doing all that other stuff to the father and making sure he gets back into jail and taking care of the son and try to be there. Then, going after, Charlie, then, being friends with Charlie or whatever. Now he realized that Ciara is not for him, and he never did really love her like that because he was always sleepwalking through his life because he has been high from the age 12 to the year before last. So he doesn't even know how he really feels about her, but he thought he felt that way, but it was only because he was intoxicated. So he's realizing all the past relationships, he probably was never really in love because he never knew himself other than being under the influence. And that happens to a lot of people. He was just sleepwalking through life because, when he went to college, he was partying, going crazy, sleeping with the teacher. And before that, he wasn't with Mindy, he was with the other girl, I think. And they was doing drugs or whatever. So now he's finally got a clean slate. And, he was looking at Eddie at that type of, mothering type of way and having a serious relationship with her. But, she was wild too. And then Eddie's a real piece of shit, how she left her niece there and went to Cabo you know, and then call DCYF and have her niece sitting there. The niece got abandoned by the mom. Now the niece got abandoned, is being abandoned by Eddie. Eddie's a piece of shit. And Eddie quit the job or whatever. And Eddie got some problems. So, you know, Lip don't need her, but Lip is going to take on, you know, the niece for a little while to see if Eddie's gonna come back and see if he can find Eddie. And he actually, you think about it, Lip actually helped Brad to as well get back, and we find out that Brad is back with his fiance, and the baby. Lip gets on the bike and he rides away. Now it's time for him to move on to another step. He was honest with Sierra, so he was able to move forward with that. And you know, it is what it is. But Lip has changed a lot, because Lip used to be a low down dirty dog, and he used to do people dirty, but he realized that that wasn't him. That was the drugs that he was under, and he was almost going to be exactly like Frank. And so that was like, damn. And then we have, you know, what's his name, Liam is going to get this information. He got the code, he got the pictures, whatever, but he's feeling some type of way, and he's actually sleepwalking too as well. He was sleepwalking once, and you know, Lip, you know, woke him up and he had keys in his hand. Then he was sleepwalking the second time, he had keys in his hand. He actually unlocked Carl, so Carl can actually go to military school, and Carl bounced and he left. So Carl is woke. He, you know, he's not gonna fall into the traps that he used to be in. But anyways, so Liam, you know, turning his back on Frank and not giving Frank the code to break into the house was like on point, because he wanted to wake up, he wanted to move forward, and he was tired of being used. And he was like, he was feeling like this kid as his friend, why we don't supposed to hurt our friends, and he was tired of being taken advantage of by Frank. So you know, he gave him the wrong code. And it was funny, Frank went there, broke into the house, the alarm didn't work, so he just started running around stealing stuff. Security came, and he jumped inside the porta potty full of shit, piss, and everything else to hide. And he had one little silver, you know, teacup, huge tea case holder. So would you, to escape from going to prison for breaking and entry, B&E, would you jump inside of a porta potty to hide from the cops, and you know, guarantee they're not going to find you in a porta potty? Would you do it? Let me know. So anyways, so Frank got away again, and he's smiling because he has he thinks he got some gold. He got away from the cops. And Liam, he doesn't answer Frank's call when Frank called, try to get the code, because he's done with that. He's done with taking advantage of, being taken advantage of by his father. And you know, he wants to do something different. I wish they would have did more with Liam in school, like how his grades were going, like how he's fitting into school, and so they can show the genius side, because a lot of the Gallaghers, you know, have very high IQs, to see Liam's IQ and everything. So, but I think Liam is going to hook up with this family. It's going to be something good. And but even though Frank thinks the father ain't nothing but a piece of shit, but we don't even know if Frank was making up that story and lying on the man. And that's what Liam was probably believing too as well, that Frank is probably lying. So Liam sleepwalking and unlocking Carl just unlocked him to his future. And Liam saying no to Frank and giving Frank the wrong security code unlocked his future as well. So he's not sleepwalking no more. So that's cool. And so Carl did get away. He got away. He did his thing. And then we got Fiona. You know, she meets up with the lawyer. The lawyer's telling her that she needs to sell and spend the money, clear bankruptcy. And also telling her that they want $3 million and her dog. I was like, what kind of lawyer is that? Like, yo, like, come on. So the lawyer's telling her to, like, do all this stuff like she was going to lose. Like, the lawyer didn't even have, like, a fighting bone to try to get anything back, that they're loitering in her house, you know. They pitched the tent, and then come to find out that Rodney, he found, you know, the number on the back of a truck to work for the roofing company, and basically Fiona's going to be screwed. So Fiona is just like, you know what, I'm thinking about what Frank told me. And she did. She go catch up with the dude, the pyrotechno guy, whatever he is, and she ends up using a smoke bomb and getting them bums out of her house. And they was coughing out the window. She got them out. Ford was there working with her. Her and Ford have started a new beginning, and she's not sleepwalking anymore, where it's just about sex, where it's just about giving up, when it's about, going all the way left field like Ian did with the Jesus stuff. She's not doing that. She just got them out the house, offered them $4,000 and give them 500 a month. And the lady said, "How do you know that? How we know you really gonna send us that money? Because you know what? Around here, our word really means something. Because there was no good and low down. She burned some of that money. She was like, that money was killing me to burn." When she was talking to Ford, her and Ford look like they're gonna have a relationship, even though he keeps answering her questions with a question. But it seems like he likes her, and he can show Fiona new ways and actually really help her with her building. And he's also supporting her with all her situations with her family, with these people, pinching a tent in her apartment, fixing the doors, and and he likes who she is. And I guess they are in a relationship, and she asks him, "Are you sleeping with anybody?" And he goes, "No, I'm not, and if I was, I would tell you." So that's something Fiona can respect, because she don't like cheaters, because she's a cheater and she's been cheated on too as well. So I think she started a new path, and she was able to go back to her old ways, but not go all the way back where it caused her harm. And she has been successful with this building, and she didn't give up, but she went and got help too, because her boss at the diner told her, like, just offer him like $4,000. But she was teaching Fiona a lesson, because Fiona was like, buy the building from me. And the lady, Fiona was like 50. She kept saying 40. Then Fiona said 50. She said 40. Fiona said 50. And then she said 30. And she kept going down and down and down. And she was like, that's prime real estate over here right now. You know what I mean? And so she was like, they're desperate. And you sound desperate, but they're even more desperate. So once you do this, and she was absolutely right. So she used the pyrotechno guy. She used a little bit of Frank information to smoke them out, and then used bribery with money, because they was desperate for cash, and they were gone and they're out. And she didn't have to give up her dreams. So that's one good ending that usually doesn't happen for Fiona. She has to give up something, and she didn't have to give up her dreams. She just had to give up some dough. So then moving on from that, I don't know if she got her dog back, and she doesn't have to file bankruptcy or anything like that. And so then moving on from that, we have, Kev and V. They go pick up, the woman that used to work for Spillona's mother up at the airport. She got Gucci down bags or whatever. She got Coach bags, and she got this big old wig on her head or whatever. And she was like, "Who are you? Who are you?" And you got Kevin V dressed like limo drivers, just like chauffeurs and shit like that. And they bring her down to the bar. And once they bring her down to the bar, they're fixing her a drink, and they're cutting up the pills to put the pills inside her drink to knock her out. And Tommy's so funny. Tommy was like, who's that? Tommy was like, who is that? He was like, who is that casket sitting over there in a Phil's Diggler's wig? He said, who's that corpse? Who's that corpse over there sitting there in that Phil Diggler's wig? I was like, yo, Tommy is always there at the bar. He's funny. And Tommy and Kermit are watching, Kev just chop up these pills and put them inside the cup. And then Kev explains to him why he's doing it. Kermit was like, I don't follow, I don't understand. And so V goes over there to give her the vodka, and V goes, vodka? And then, the corpse says to, V, I know it's vodka, you cow, you black cow. It's like, damn, that's so fucked up for what she said, but that's why she's knocked out when her daughter's not getting married. She said, Shameless goes there. She said, I know it's vodka, you stupid cow, you stupid black cow. Like, she had to throw all that in there, burn that wig on top of her head. I was like, yo, just so wrong. And so anyways, they knock her out. So now she's hostage too with, the daughter. And so, what's her name? Spillana, and Kev and V, they go to the wedding place or whatever. Kev is going to give away on Spillana, and she looks nice, she looks good in her wedding dress or whatever. They meet the son's like, this is a shit show. The father shows up with no shoes on. the groom shows up with no shoes on. He got on slippers. He don't know what's going on and lost his mind or whatever. He can't remember who's there, who's his friends. The son says, this is a fucking shame. And it was like, the father was like, the son was like, who are you, Kev? He was like, oh, I'm giving away the bride. Okay, thank God there's a prenup. So Spinlana doesn't know that there's a prenup yet. So I wonder what she's going to do. She going to kill him? And so they asked Spinlana what she's going to do. And she said she's going to take her old friend, sell her to another friend, and keep her back whoring. That is wrong. And she's going to take the mother and put bricks in her pockets and throw her in the river because she's too old to sell. I was just like, Solana ain't no joke. She is too much. I was like, oh, God. So then, moving on from that, she said she's going to put rocks in her pockets and throw and hope she drowns. Drop her in the lake. Throw her in the lake. I'm like, yo. And so, that's pretty much like, and Deb is just really devastated at this time and point. But, then Carl was really crying, when he was handcuffed because he really wanted to go to military school. He can see his dreams going away. Then Cassie talking about them living in the projects, having like 6 kids, and they eat McDonald's every day and get fat. Like, so what a terrible stereotype. And also like how she is all screwed up inside. Like, she's rich, but she wants to pretend like she's poor because she really don't want to be poor. If she didn't have no option, she wouldn't want that option. It's fun and giggles. It's cool to her because her parents chill with P. Diddy. They're millionaires, so it's a joke to her. And Carl, hopefully Carl wakes up and never come back to Cassie when he gets out of military camp or whatever. And Carl just started to cry. At that moment, he started to cry. I think he realized that this woman was batshit crazy, and she probably reminded him exactly of Monica. I was just like, damn. So I was like, yo, Carl was crying, and she handcuffed Carl to the bed, both arms, both legs, with his own handcuffs, and she was gonna keep him there until it was time for him not to, go back to military school. I was like, damn. Like, that's some bullshit. She's crazy, and it's just like, but who loves her? Frank was like, oh, you're my best daughter-in-law. And that's when, Lip was like, she's your only daughter-in-law. So Spinlana gets married to the man, and nobody noticed that it's Spinlana at the wedding. Nobody noticed. Nobody noticed anything. So Lip, he gets on that bike and he rides away. And he's about to start a new future. He's about to start new. He's about to really start new. And Eddie just leaving her niece there with some bullshit. Anyways, peace. I'm out. One love. The season, we had some really great episodes, but the season started off very, very strong, and then somehow down the road it just lost its way. Especially like when meeting Kev's family, Spinlana taking over the bar, Kev having cancer. There was a lot of good episodes. There was a lot of good ones. And then actually seeing Liam go to this private school and that whole shebang. And then Fiona and this new apartment complex, meeting her neighbors and, renting the apartment and stuff like that. And then Ian starting off really strong with the EMT and helping the kids and being straightforward and having some like funny scenes with him and Trevor went out and had sex with like 2 men, 2 huge big guys. And that was pretty decent. It started off really strong, and then Debbie working, Debbie working and, taking care of the baby, and then she leaves. The guy, Neil, she leaves Neil, and her going to school and working with like adults and stuff like that were different. Her trying to be a grown up. She is a grown up like in the episode because she's a mother and all this other stuff, and that was really strong. And then, Ewan seeing him running into that house with the car. It started off really strong, but it kind of got weak a little bit. But anyways, all in all, it was a good episode. It was a good season. Peace. I'm out. One love.